Neesha Hudson, a mother of 2 young children, has had dozens of conversations with her kids daily.
But one seemingly innocent conversation would plant the seed for her first children's book. 207's Beth McAvoy has the story.
I have been illustrating, doing freelance illustration for about 13 years now. And illustrating and writing a picture book has always been kind of the ultimate dream.
Mainer Neesha Hudson just released her first book called Turtle in a Tree.
The Turtle in a Tree is about 2 dogs who are seeing different things in a tree. One is saying there's a turtle in a tree, and the other one is saying, well, I see a squirrel. And so the overall message of the book is really about having 2 different perspectives. And just because you don't see something the way that someone else sees it doesn't mean that person is necessarily wrong.
What inspired the storyline?
So when my son was 2.5, we were sitting in the car and he said, oh, there's a turtle in that tree. And I said, a turtle in a tree? And he goes, I'm sure. And so that became the first 2 pages of the book, almost exactly that conversation. It just kind of sparked this idea in my head of, oh, this could be something here. And so I wrote the story and I sketched it out and I sent it to my agent, and she was like, yeah, I think we have something here.
The book was picked up by a publisher in December of 2019. Was it hard to release your first book during a pandemic?
Yes, it was really hard to release it during a pandemic. It was just a weird time for everybody, and this was no exception. I thought, I would have my kids in school, so I would be able to, focus on the book and focus on the illustrations. That didn't happen. They were suddenly home, and we were suddenly trying to figure out how to, do distance learning. And so there were just kind of a lot of things thrown at the process of this book. It's been really, really well received. It's gotten really good reviews, and I'm getting lots of messages. I'm really, really happy with the final outcome of the book.
Neesha's 2 pet dogs inspired the main characters, who use their different perspectives to teach a lesson.
They do have this banter back and forth, but it's more about each being confident in what he himself sees rather than trying to attack the other person for what they see. Kids are very confident. I have a 6-year-old, and if he says there's a turtle in a tree, then there's a turtle in a tree. So I wanted to keep that message clear in the book. And I also really didn't want to talk down to the reader in any way. I didn't want to hit the reader over the head with a message. And this is the type of book that parents or educators can read to their kids or classes, and a discussion can come from it. Is there a time where you were talking to someone and you had a different point of view than them? And my daughter's 4th grade teacher read it to his class, and he said it opened up a really good discussion with all of them on just perspective and understanding, and also knowing when to admit that maybe you're not right. Maybe just because you don't see something the way someone else sees, that doesn't mean they're wrong and you're right.
Why do you think it's so important to get books in front of children?
Developing a love for reading is the most important thing, I think, for children. Both of my kids, they really, really love books. And my 6-year-old went to kindergarten this year, so he's starting to learn to actually read the words. And that's very exciting for him. And I can tell there's a sense of pride. I think it's important to encourage it no matter what kind of books your kids like. My daughter loves graphic novels, and we get her every single graphic novel that we can from the library. And, whatever you love to read, that's what we try to encourage them to do.
Most importantly, so you have 2 children, your son is 6, your daughter's in 4th grade. How do they like the book?
They like it. My son approves for sure. As I'm working on books, I definitely bring it to them and ask, do you think this is working? Do you think this is funny? And I kind of gauge their reaction. So it's kind of nice to have 2 critics living in my house at all times.
Now, Neesha is working on her next story, which is a companion book to Turtle in a Tree. She can't say much about it yet, but she assures us some of the same characters will be in the story.
I got a chance to read through the book and it was really cute.
Amazing to write and illustrate all together. That's
Yeah.
pretty great talent.